we do have telemetry from Twitch. Check in my left mirror. I've got a little green box. Some days you just don't have any mana at all, right? You've done some stuff. It might not have been the most amazing stuff you did, but you did it. And it has a certain cost to everything you do, right? Trying to get my other programs up. This is the setup phase after all. I gotta push out to friends and family everywhere that I'm still here. And you know what? This time with microphone power. Right? Because apparently I did a whole 3 or 4 hours of talking and showing off some art stuff and whatever the hell. And as happens sometimes, you get distracted by all the knobs and dials, and I could hear myself fine through the microphone, but for reasons, I was muted in OBS, and so the video of all that exists. It's got some nice music to it. The video exists, and I'm going to let it continue to exist, but that's part of what I'm working on right now, trying to get Photoshop up and running, and just do a quick recap. I also want to do some painting tonight. I want to talk about ritual, the natural order, and patina. These are my subjects. Thank you for being out there. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 12. Like I said, ritual, the natural order, and patina. What the hell does any of that mean? Well, I'm a dude who I think of topics in weird ways. I did a whole thing where I talked about reductionism, breaking ideas down. So those are our big ideas. You know, the kind of theme. That's what the episode's about. I'm going to lead you along. I'm going to do this episode. I'm working on the title card for this, folks. It'll happen someday, but this episode is rated B for bullshit because everything I say is just like Dr. Richard Feynman wants. You're just saying some shit to test it out, to see, is there any merit to it? I could talk to myself and work these things out. Or I could, drop my pants a little, be a little raw and real, and do this kind of stuff in front of you. It's kind of talk therapy for me. It also helps me get over my fear of giving talks in front of crowds. And then oftentimes I regurgitate these ideas, this kind of freestyle, vocal, lyrical freestyle, word vomit. I'll mine this however many hours we're going to be here and see, the way I said this and that, was that good? Is there any merit to it? Should I write a little syllabus around it? Very list-oriented. So what are our goals? The other thing, I need you to understand that I'm a big proponent for infectious language. Give me just a second, and I will tell you what the hell that means. Copying and pasting stuff, remember? We're still in the setup phase. We're just trying to get it all together. And then I need to not link people to my dashboard. There's no harm in it, I am told. They literally missed the mark. Yep, there's my dude. I've been trying to go around and change my avatar on all the social medias. Get that done. Here's to surviving the night. Because you gotta put something weird and cryptic and angsty, right? Spark imagination and fear at the same time. I don't see a problem with that. That's half of what bullshit is, man. As a marketeer, I'm the first one to tell you that... Well, okay, I was going to tell you about infectious language. The notion that you're here at all, that you might hear my voice, the fact that you're allowing me to tell you any of these words in front of this music. How about this music? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In hot pursuit. Here we go. Thinking out loud. Alright, so infectious language. Here's the other thing I'm going to have a title card for, but it's got to be part of the intro, right? By being here, by letting me talk to you in this way, you're already consenting to the fact that, and this is why we love TED Talks, right? Hopefully I'm not going to be as, what's the right word? I got a lot of knobs and dials I'm not letting you see back here that I'm trying to tweak. Getting a little distracted. I might not respect your time as much as I need to. I'll be upfront about that. That's part of this word salad, right? Just mixing ideas and seeing what goes where. Now I need to fire up Discord because I got buddies on there. And see if this takes. Let me show you this. This is kind of the scene that we would have last had. Yeah. This has a segment, I'm going to call it recap. Setup and recap. Why would we need to recap? Well, you know, like I said, last time there was what the hell, Discord? Why are you being dumb? Ding ding ding. Last time I forgot to record my audio. And so we ended with this, kind of a bust that I could sculpt. I'm considering more and more things in their shape, in their form, because I am taking my life on the vector of becoming a sculptor. I want to craft weird, shroud-like things. And I want them to be worth someone's... I want someone to value them. And I want them to outlast me, right? I went to the Fernie Bray. And I was excited because we had been wanting to go there a couple times. And I went there, and there was something elitist in it, the way that it hit me. Yeah, sure, I wasn't a dick about it. You know, that thing when you're a dick on the inside? But I looked down at, now some of the stuff was really good, but some of the stuff I went, wait a minute, that's selling for that price? And there's been only a few times in my life where I felt like allow me to be crude, but here's the man speak of it. When one dude needs to measure his girth alongside another dude. There's only been a few times that I've had to do that. But I've always been the kind of guy that you either throw that out of your mind, or you go, you know, if that's just going to be a thing, try it out. Fucking see how it goes. Oh, there we go, folks. There's the first one. I speak casually, I speak plainly, I try not to infer or imply a lot of things. And so, sometimes I say the F word and the S word. If you don't like that, understand I rarely ever do it out of malice. Think of it like an or an Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I have to disseminate the signal out onto the Discord stream. We can say this is off topic. I feel a little better now that I changed my avatar, that this is going out in this way. RPG talk can also be off topic. Wobbly talk can be right up in that common room. boned up skeletons. Yeah, DIY. There we go. Here we go. Very good. You give me so much at one time. Yes, I do, but I might have bigger for you. Bigger, bigger. Bigger, bigger, my. Yeah, that's right. I'm on Twitch now, right? I'm happy that you guys would have me over here. I have 10 followers, which I think is 8 more than I have on YouTube, so it means a lot to me. Let me take a look at my mirrors. I am broadcasting. And OBS says what? Yeah. Some of these elements I put into place to allow me to conceal the UI so you don't have to see my title bars and other shit. But hopefully the art comes across nicely. Oh yeah. I forgot I kind of did this in 2 stages. So there's some before and after. In fact, this whole thing could be one idea, one folder. Yeah. And then I was talking about the spaceship of the imagination. Neil deGrasse Tyson, another one of my heroes, he talks about that. I realized that I can't have it be an actual spaceship. I need to not really refer to it as such. I liked how his was a silver kind of anamorphous blob, Flight of the Navigator style. I think that's kind of what I need. Yeah, one of the things I'm realizing is that I can use the epoxy sculpt to make spaceships and crap if I choose to. Oh yeah, I was thinking of this UI element because I'm thinking about, you know, slightly more production, adding production value, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so having a thing like this in the middle of the screen and just a nice animation going, especially during my Be Right Back segments. Here I'm trying to plan out the week, right? I have missed the mark in some of this. This coding stuff is not going quite the way that I want it to. This is all stuff that I set up in the last couple episodes, but hey, when you don't have your microphone running, what the crap, right? So, yeah, we talked about the Wheel of Pain, oscillation, cycles, and the seasons, that all of this is kind of a fractal. This is something that I'm putting together more and more. I'm building up to putting together a little bit of a lecture on. In fact, here's what the cards might look like if I did a PowerPoint. I was just testing out the colors. I think you might be a little too loud there. Purple Planet music. What vibe do we got going on? Let's do that jazz lounge dream thing. Let's throw this in there, right? Return of the Mummy. Alright. So yeah, we're live again. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 12. Ritual, the Natural Order, and Patina. What the hell does he mean when he says any of that? Okay, well, I gave my disclaimers. That's the U part. That Wheel of Pain. Need. Let's talk about need. Yeah, ritual is definitely the most need, right? Self-discipline. I don't know how much you want to know about me, but part of this is part of the reason why I lean heavily into storytelling is because somewhere I got one of those froofy quotes. You know, those inspirational things that come across your feed on Facebook, and it said something along the lines of, you're the owner of your story. So no matter how bad it is, go ahead and tell it. Own that. Like, you don't have to take pride in it, but you do get to acknowledge this happened, and it happened in this way. And if you use that very powerful Socratic questioning, there's a big keyword that we need to write down. Powerful stuff. you be careful if you turn the Socratic questioning mirror in on yourself, because you're going to do a lot of self-therapy. The why. It's what a 3 or 4 year old kid does. It's what a kid does. I don't really know ages in kids. But, always asking why. Why is the sky blue? Why? How deep until you finally get to where actually the patience and the knowledge of the parental figure starts to crack, right? I like this icon over here. I think you can see that. Yeah. I kind of came out with a parody sticker idea. I'm thinking about stickers more. Can I go back any farther? What is this if I... Oh, yeah. This was some of the sketching I did about breaking a big idea into smaller ideas. So I went with something I was kind of familiar with, because again, I was freeballing, just spitballing and freestyling, and I said, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And it's like, if I break that down and I concentrate on it, what ideas do you get? I said, real cartoons, noir, it may be species rights. Okay, that's our sandbox. Now take that, go the other direction, remix, restyle, freestyle, do an homage of. I'm saying big, borrow, and steal from the shit that inspires you, right? Are these the same? I got 2 of the same layer. Oh, no. That's fine. Oh, yeah, because then in this frame I say, well, let's take noir and then say that's the thing we want to take away from it. So, yeah, you have a lot of options. You can say, okay, I'm going to take these things and make my own Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Or maybe I just want to, now that I've reduced this, I've isolated this center thing, and it's what I want to take away as an ingredient. And see, I even made it the same color over here. And it'd say, well, I want noir, talking animals, and conspiracy, and I end up calling it Animal City. It starts to feel a lot like Zootopia. And over here, I drew an idea of like a dog treat or something, that when you drop it in hot water, like scalding hot tea water, for a couple minutes it turns into its own ramen. It's got the spices and everything condensed down inside. It's my idea, don't steal it. Oh yeah, and again, because I didn't have a microphone, I want to backtrack over this real quick, but I got to talking about heroes. And this was the day before Stan Lee died, so yeah, forgive me for taking a day off or two. I'm trying to keep doing this streaming thing. One of the things that, I guess this needs to be part of my disclaimer, but, around these parts, my followers, my friends, we all embrace the futility of life. That is to say, everything is oscillation. You gotta take the good with the bad. You can't have too many good hands, you can't have too many bad hands. That gives you hope, that gives you realistic. It's like, look, this story ends, so take a deep breath. Control your elemental forces. Treat every day that you get up out of bed like your birthday, because we realize that we can't see our cosmic hourglass, but it's slowly, ever slowly, draining, right? We're all running out of time. Wouldn't it be something if we could see our expiration dates? We don't know when that is. Oh my goodness, he gets really morbid. Well, yes, but you have to talk about this stuff. My wife doesn't like when I talk about it. But I feel like you've got to talk this stuff out, right? I think that when you become aware of your mortality, then you have to start to question, well, who the hell am I? And what signal do I want to put out? How do I want to come across? Look at this graphic here. Why am I doing this sculpting stuff? Why do I care? Well, look, it has been a artgasm for me. Oh yeah, I did draw some of this. So we would lay this over the top and we'd say, hey, this is episode B for rated B for bullshit. The closest thing I have to a political affiliation is the pizza party. Reading Rainbow. Oh yeah, so then I mean, we're going forwards and backwards, but it's all the same stuff. I mean, these are the mind games I play with myself all day. Let's break it down, let's build it back up. What's this idea? Let's break it down. This is the other reason I say most of the time when I do marketing and consulting, not to, I certainly don't want to make the people I associate with seem like they are dummies. They're not. But you only have your own perspective on these things, so sometimes you have to go to the doctor to be told that X, Y, and Z is wrong. What I'm trying to say is most of the time when we think we're facing a problem, I mean, you can pay us to be problem solvers, but we like to get down to the root of the real issue. Most of the reason why people's marketing is weak sauce is because they have not put in a little bit of extra mental juice to control the narrative. What the hell is he talking about? It sounds like some political house the cards shit. Kind of is. At the lowest and the highest levels, you start to see that everything is designed. Everything is doled out to you with purpose. From the script of a commercial to the way that the handle on that guardrail was machined. Designers hold a lot of power. And part of what can be designed is not a visual element, but look, it's the froofier stuff is what I'm trying to say, man. Like, so the old story goes that Steve Jobs was being pitched something, and the punchline is, he's like, well, he was confused as to how any of this had happened because he didn't see the sex in it. He's like, where's the sex? And if you're not going to be somebody that literally leans into sex, and I have an artist friend who is doing that now, and he's making quite a bit of money, then you've got to sell a story with everything that you do. Being on that Maslow's hierarchy of needs thing, no one needs my art. No one needs to listen to this show. So see, knowing that I'm not food, I'm not shelter for you, knowing that I'm just talking out into the void, and that my largest hope, I mean, it would be wonderful if somebody joined me tonight. I'd speak that kindness out into the universe, but if it doesn't happen, that's okay too, right? It's alright to be the kind of person who has incredibly low expectations. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a glass half full kind of guy. In fact, I normally never am. Your reference point is everything. What are you talking about? Look, I can be a literalist asshole when I need to be. You gonna talk to me about that glass? Are we on Earth or are we in outer space? Are we on Earth? Most people would assume. The glass is fucking full, right? You want to get pedantic? It's half full of water, it's half full of air. It's full. Everything is. How deep do you want to go into this stuff, buddy? Right? You want to have a serious discussion? I don't think you've got the pharmaceuticals for a serious discussion. Something is out of sync for sure if this is saying that Hot Pursuit is my music track. See, sometimes you just gotta check your mirrors, man, right? Oh, one of the things I wanted to show you is, like I was talking to my buddy Moon about for his business. This sculpting stuff is starting to get serious enough. It's taking up enough of my cycles. I find myself that there's an opportunity cost, and if I'm going to do one thing, I can't be doing another thing, right? And so maybe I alternate my attention. And on the weeks that I don't have a role playing night, which is at the end of the night, at the end of the week rather. Let's give you something to look at, right? Here's my old plan from 2 weeks ago, right? Hey, right? Oh, don't you know? Yeah. So on the weeks where I don't do this, then maybe I can do some sculpting stuff. Speaking of sculpting, it's part of where I get the idea of patina. Let me do some fun palette blending, okay? You want to see some palette blending? You want to see me do one color and then another color? I know I'm insufferable, but hey, I can do whatever I want, right? Here's my low bar. First of all, I don't care if nobody watches. That isn't to say that you're not valued. It's just that that's not a factor for success. I was here tonight, damn it. Part of what I'm envisioning, let's just give me like a chip, right? Like a swatch, like a. And I want to see, it get brighter. I want to see it get more yellow. And I'm picturing like the inside of a greenhouse, right? Eerie. I was thinking in the shower, this is part of that ritual part. You want to get to know me? Let me tell you something. I'm a dude who I take strange ritual showers. It's weird to say it that way, right? I just had a feel. And what? Let me clarify all that, because if I just leave it there, then it's incredibly weird, right? That just leaves you to assume way too much about me. What it means is, I see it as a kind of nightly baptism, a way to refresh and refocus and focus on breathing and all sorts of stuff. That's why I use the word ritual, right? You can hear the sister moose. And so one of my shower thoughts tonight, I was thinking about an HDRI sphere. What the hell is that? That is, oh golly, that's part of my frustration, right? An HDRI sphere is something that visual artists use to project around a scene and get a feel for the environment that they're going to try and fake. So let's say, and literally this is part of my idea, so I'll just tell it to you. If I were making a movie that my little creatures were going to be in, then I might go and get an HDRI sphere, which you can make these things yourself. I won't go into how, it's not important, but I would probably go and make one, or see if someone has already made, of something in a botanical garden, or like a biodome. Because I was thinking about when I sculpted my little dudes, I've got a certain I got a certain point of view, right? This is to say, I've got I have the light above me, and we just put in a bunch of new lights here in the bunker, and it shines a certain color. But if I'm going to stage my pictures, I might want them to have more of a natural greenish brown light to them, right? And part of where I get the feel of this is you know, those opaque panels that are on greenhouses. That's kind of what I think. So now let me take this, here's just a slice of it, and stretch it out. You know, and already I've done a few things. And this is kind of what I was talking about, patina. In the shower, I was thinking about the scarab I did on my wife's mask. Why would I do this? Well, one of the reasons is by building a palette like this, where I've kind of focused on light to dark in a couple different directions, that empowers me to do something like this. Watch this. So this is 26. Let me go up to, first of all, let me lock the opacity on the thingies. Let's go up to 46. Yeah, let's just go up 20 every time. 46, 66-ish. There we go. 86. All right. Come in here, massage this down. Get some rim light going on. Even take a little bit of darker. Oh yeah. And now by doing that, I can oh yeah, and then let's just beep this up straight to 100. Put a hotspot right there. In fact, yeah, maybe I'm just showing off, but let's come in and put a bit of a horizon in here. I see some trees. This is actually kind of what an HDRI sphere is. It's a 360 environment that maps where the light source is coming from. And all of these colors bounce all around. You can look this stuff up on Google. Fascinating stuff. See, now we've made this look a little more chromy. I do all of this. Oh, let's not merge those together. I do all of this because let's put a little marker here. Hold on. Let's put a marker down for the Twitch people. Let's change the segment name. Art stuff. Art stuff. Yeah, it's the art stuff hour, whatever. All right. Let me show you some sex. This is magic. This is why, here's another reason to use Photoshop, kids. So first of all, I think I need to come here. Let me undo this. One more time. Gradient map. I think the better way to do it would be just link it to this layer. Here we go. All right. Now I can take this and just start picking out here, right? Sometimes you poop. Sometimes this does not work the way that it's supposed to. Oh. What are our options when we're inside this dialogue? Not a lot. Oh, now it's working for some damn reason. All right. And, yeah, we like that. We're going to come down here and get some of this. Do you see what I am doing, friends? Do you see how this is working? When it works. When this was shown to me, I saw it immediately for the witchcraft that it could be. Let's say we're happy with this. The other thing that ends up happening is then, should we come in here, because it's applied that to the grayscale of this based on this line, with dark being down here and bright being up here. I've created already a sort of patina. I'm considering a color palette that looks a lot like this for the things that I make next. That means, what would it be like to limit myself to... Oh, and now that I have this color palette made, I can also begin to do some painting, right? Maybe the last thing I need on this palette is one final actual super dark color. Yeah. But starting from these darker colors also makes it a little more visceral, right? I have this one creature I've been thinking of. And I try and draw it because then this helps me see what kind of lumps I might need, right? I've been sneezing a lot today. I think it's the dryness of the life support system down here in the bunker. Uh-oh. We've been painting on all the wrong layers, friends. I don't even know what's going on here right now. Close enough. Whatever, man. See, look, I started down here, and my palette needs to be the same way if I'm going to build up skin tones, right? And so then I might come here to something real bright and think, if that's the darkness, then how do I want the highlights to hit his face? How do I carve those in? You're essentially just sculpting, right? Oh yeah, and I want him to have a little bit of a bust. And then I can come in here with a medium color and sculpt it on the edges, right? Right, man? Just like you would go in and try and use a posterize filter. I don't know what that is. Gee golly, mister. Well, you will someday, Billy. Or you won't. It doesn't really matter. This is why I said like. It means it's a simile. It's a context clue that if you want more inspiration and information, then you'll have to Google that your darn self. Isn't it fun to cheat, folks? I love this little blurry thing. It might be turned up to be a little too blurry now that I look at it. The strength on it can always be knocked down. Yeah, that's a little more of a buff, right? It's too blurry to begin with. Now we've buffed this in. We'll buff this together. We'll buff that down there because his little lip sticks out. And this is okay that we're going for mostly soft shadows right now, because then I'm going to come back in here and chisel in the hard ones, right? The edges. Like right here. Let's zoom in on this guy. Let's refine him some. Give him real black eyes. So as I got to thinking about this patina, and as I got to thinking of stuff that I might want to find in my greenhouse, little creatures and whatnot, right? I got to thinking, well, what does one of those guys look like? I'm calling these myriad motion. Not emotion, motion. Motion. Couple reasons for that. First of all, I'm inspired by the fake Asian mythos surrounding the Mogwai and gremlins. There's a little bit of Pokemon in there too, for sure. Man, if I could listen to some Duran Duran tonight, that'd be great. For copyright reasons, this being an MC is kind of lame sometimes. That is to say, I'm feeling a certain vibe and I want to put it out there, and it's like, nope, can't do that. Oops. See, that's way too dark. If I can't do it with this dark brush, then I really need it to be more of an outline, right? I want this green scale to dominate a little bit more. That's why this is a lot like chiseling. Because I'm really just playing with value, right? And these values are all values that I either got from my patina that I made here, or color picked from inside this thing that I'm making for myself. If I give him a nose, he immediately starts to look like that sloth from that one show, right? No, I want him to look a little more like a turnip kid, right? I think that's what I mean when I say that. But I want these eyes to be a little bulbous and salamandery, right? Yes, I am right about that. Right. That's gonna get annoying quick if I keep doing it all night. Right? Right through the night. Yeah, he's got some hair. How do we blend that down? Let's choose a dark color of this. And some hair. And otherwise all the hair is like this. And so this hair can go there. Which, in all honesty, I mean, I want this to be a bit of a mane. So I'll show it coming down one side or the other. I think part of my agita is I might have this backwards, right? Here we go, do it right this way, and it's a little bit of a fleece to it. Or do I want it to have these hooks and swirls and curls to them? I think I do want it to feel a little bit like a mullet. Yeah, I think I want there to be enough of an impression up underneath here that it could look like his eyes might have supposed to have been up underneath here at one point, but definitely didn't end up there. In fact, to borrow from here, let's just put some highlight in here. Looks a little better. I don't want this to look like a math stash, so I need to actually massage this area and push it down more. Sometimes the only way to really get that done is to put down another layer, make it darker. And when you think about stuff like this, then it starts to feel like it might if it were acrylic paint too. Because this is the same kind of stuff I would do. So I feel like I'm having a little bit of trouble defining what this might be like. I want him to have a little bit of a jaw. See, if I'm going to consider these things, I want to actually figure out how they might work if there was a skeleton up underneath there. Like, it's unlikely this thing would have evolved, but if it did, what would that have been like? So, I hope you don't mind that I try and put some bullshit thought into it. So that causes me to want to push this back even farther. This is part of what I hope that you guys would come for and stick around for. I have a couple other files, art files I need to make for a meeting I have tomorrow, but you know, that's boring. Hopefully you guys like watching me paint. Hopefully you don't mind those nights where I'm a little less rambunctious and entertaining than others, because I haven't had a lot of energy lately. If you pray for me, pray energy and exuberance, inspiration for me. How much of this lip do I want to be defined, right? I mean, I could come in and actually make this feel like an actual little lip. And make this feel drawn down. Let me see if I can draw this from the side. How would that look? So it started off more like that, because I want this guy to have a neck. Yeah, the eyes do have to slide back a little bit, right? And so he ends up looking a little bit like a friggin' hand puppet, but whatever, dude. Oh yeah, because I was gonna have, I forgot it. This is it, the disparity between my sketchbook and not my sketchbook, but I'd say almost right back behind his eye would be, yeah, coming off this stalk here would be ears. I want him to look like a little bit like a rabbit. Ears are fun, right? The other thing I like about ears is if done correctly, and I might be able to do this better with the fix-it sculpt. You can do that sexy transparency of subsurface scattering, right? So I need to look at some actual ears rather than just phone these in. But yeah, I want them to come down. Because really, this dude's profile is this, right? And then this tuber. In fact, I need him to get more oniony as he goes down. Is that even a word? Now this is going to be something. Do we assume that these little dudes have red blood? Do they have blood? Do they bleed at all? Well, why would you ask such a morbid question? You know, that's going to kind of help infer what color is up underneath here. Inform is the word I mean. So the ears are definitely thicker over here. We'll allow them to get this bright as they come down and around. But back in here, they're going to have to be, and that's half the contrast, right? That we're going to come and show off the eye like this. And then this contrast here, right? So then, let's blend this right here, back and down and around here. Let's get a bigger brush and just start blending this together. Because after you smooth, then you can come back in here and grab something and chisel it back in, right? Right. Alright, man, we get it. Jeez. But to see how I want to show light kind of coming through his ear some. Now, if I had some really transparent Sculpey, I could get this done real good, but, you know, again, that's an investment and a little bit of a deviation from my budgetary script right now, so. And then if I really want to, I can come back in here and grabbing the next color, see how I can hook this in here, this in there, this up in here some. Say, oh, let's blend that out. Let's blend that edge out. Let's blend this edge out. Or let me show you the other way. What if we blend the other edges? That's a choice. But because of the way that that curves right at the end on this one, don't think that's the way I want to do it. Let's blend up and into here. Kind of Bob Ross makes a goblin tonight. So I'm liking this. I'm liking where this is going. I just need to take a break. We're at the top of the first hour. This has been therapeutic. I hope that you enjoy seeing my design process. This is part of my ritual, part of my weird meditative showers. Coffee is part of that ritual. Pomodoro is part of that ritual. Remember the little timer. So try and take a break every 30 minutes to an hour. I'm happy that you might be receiving this signal at all, so I hope that you'll stay with me past the peaceful break. We're into the night with Incomitatum. This is episode 12, Ritual, the Natural Order, and Patina. I hope you've liked hanging with me here. All those who are receiving this signal. Coffee doesn't drink itself, and so you cannot inherit its benefits simply by being in proximity to it. Or if there is a way, I haven't learned it. Let me just say that, friends. I appreciate you being out there tonight with me, keeping me company as I send my signal out into the stars and back. This spaceship of the imagination, it takes off every night, whether you're present or not. It's just, isn't everything better with friends? Especially when we're hunting werewolves, listen to this music. I'm not going to rebuke this music because it sounds cool. Here's this little guy I'm working on. I was considering this patina, this color scheme, this haze. I guess if we want to give him some real bright whites, we can do it from here, right? Yank. Yank. Truth is, though, I don't see a lot of bright colors on him. In fact, I want a little bit of a... Here's a detail trick I learned. So, I'm going to start carving in. Because he's a little bit like a turnip, right? I'm going to start carving in these rings. Make him look a little more salad-like, I guess. And so when you get to this part, I like this split shape here. And so these grooves become real important, I guess. And so if I maximize on that again, I might put it here. So now he starts to look a little more like a lamb, which I'm not against. So I guess I could imply a sinus cavity. And if you're watching the stream right now and that's not the direction you would wish that I would take, if you're watching an archive of this is why it would have been great if you would have been present, because this is the part of the show where when I'm feeling certain things out, I can go one way or the other, right? Let's do some color balance. Nope. Let's do some hue saturation. And hold down Alt. Colorize. Saturation. A little bit of lightness. See, now we've made it dark red too. Which is alright, because I'm going to take it back. I'm going to set it to overlay. See how we're coloring it? Just it. Because I don't want this to be too apparent, right? Now I can merge these things. And now that I've merged them, I can come in here and start sculpting around them. Hey, Moon! Alright, see, you gotta check your mirrors every now and then. My buddy Moon has joined the stream. I'm making a little kind of a Muppet Moon. Hope you like him. Yeah. I'm inspired. And this is all to test out something that I might make soon out of clay in real life. It's nice to have one viewer tonight there. And, more importantly, it's nice to know that that viewer is a friend. The problem, the more I work on this little radish dude, and he is supposed to remind you of a vegetable, somewhere between a rabbit and a vegetable, I think. He's supposed to sit in your garden. The more I noodle on him, the more I worry if he doesn't look like the friggin' sloth from that stupid Ice Age movie. Yeah, John Leguizamo, I think. You know it's a party when the subject of John Leguizamo comes up. And I guess if I put some fun little squinty-eyed things right here. But really I'm just painting, I'm coloring, I borrow from one spot and then I blend it back and then I make the edge hard again if that's what I want. Yeah. Let's zoom out. What do we got? Oh yeah, and then the other thing I was talking about, it was making this kind of patina. Just sticking to a palette. Checking my mirrors, folks. We've been streaming for 1 hour and 6 minutes. I've got 1 viewer. That's good. That's good. That was better than we could say of a little while ago, right? And as I grow as an artist, I don't mind merging my layers down. Old me would have been horrified by it. But now that I know that I can confidently come in here and color pick from anywhere and just keep going and driving the point home more and more of whatever the hell the point is, right? Sometimes there isn't a point. Now his mouth isn't reading like I want it to. That's part of my new point. I want this to be a lip. Aw. I love you too, buddy. Shout out to Moon. Moon, what sort of cool projects are you working on? I want to stay abreast of everything that you do, but, you know, sometimes I miss out, so you might be working on something new. What's your week got you doing? Trying to keep you busy. Slumped wine bottles as cheese plates. That sounds fascinating. Do you have a link that you want to drop to some of your work? I could even show it on the stream. You can drop it to me in Discord too if you're over there. But yeah, so that's part of what my week has me thinking about. I'm thinking about maybe doing a Patreon. Already this design is changing. Now this thing has more of a face than it did before. It didn't have much of a nose before. Is that what I want? Nice. Yeah, isn't it a strange thing to shape Earth with your hands and go, holy crap, I made that. That's part of what I've been sensing and feeling as I do this stuff myself, so. Nice. What do you think about this Muppet that I've been doing, Moon? This weirdness that I've got going on. I guess Muppet with a capital M is enough of a copyright that I shouldn't be saying that shit, right? Oops. But see, as I stare at the pixels, and this wasn't intentional, but as I back off and come back, I start to see this little ridge here, and maybe down in here, and a little face muscle here. So I guess the other thing that I'm slowly choosing to do is to favor this as the new hotspot. That is to say, I'm moving the lighting over a little bit. And the reason I would do that is it's helping to give this all a little bit more shape because it didn't have it before. That's literally what I'm here to do. If I don't define the shape, then what the hell? What the hell, dude? Right? Some Jar Jar influences. Minus the awful voice, I don't mind that. Because I think that Jar Jar's design isn't why I hate him. It's just... yeah, the Gungan design isn't so bad, right? He might be a strange cousin to a house elf. I was saying, Moon, that what I like about this here, if you can go there with me, I saw a special on people who were growing wasabi in a greenhouse in your part of the world. And this reminds me of looking at the light through the thick kind of acrylic green glass of a greenhouse. And how it's all earthy, it might be stained, it might be... yeah. And so, I don't know how much you were into video effects when you were into your video stuff in college, but HDR eye spheres are a thing. High dynamic range spheres. And if you've ever seen any of the movie magic shows, when the dudes stand up with the balls, the spherical balls, and someone snaps a picture of him, he's trying to capture that to put it into 3D. And so all this is to say that as I think about my art and think about what setting I want to photograph it in and what kind of natural light, I want to start making creatures like this, that if this were sitting between two pots in a greenhouse, you wouldn't, that would feel right. That would feel natural, right? Do you think I'm nuts? Are you picking up what I'm putting down, brother? Who can say? Except for you. Yeah. Remember, folks, as you talk to your Twitch friends, it's kind of like broadcasting to Mars sometimes. It takes a while for the signal to go out and come back. That's okay. Like an interview, it allows you to sit and ponder life's finer moments. Moon's a smart fellow, though. And to say that he sees some Jar Jar influences also says that, you know, that can be a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Henson Company, right? I went to a magical event in the woods over the summertime. Moon was kind of there for the precursor of that. And all it did was remind me that I have some shit I want to do in this life before I die. It was positive. It was a positive experience. That's not a complaint. If anything, it's just an observation. But because I'm a stubborn asshole, I gotta do things on my terms, right? So I'm seeing more and more artists that I respect get into sculpting. And if I wasn't so damn good at it, I don't think I'd be so confident that I could actually take my life in this direction. But I tried it, and I scared the shit out of myself recently because I was really good at it. And it's like, why didn't I land here sooner? Well, looking back, there was a nice, there's a nice mixture of drugs in there, right? A nice cocktail of caffeine and cannabis as we drove west. Allowing you to dream. And then the Fernie Bray happened, and I thought, sometimes you have to measure your dick. You have to say, am I as cool as I think I am? Sometimes you gotta hop on that skateboard and ride that half pipe and break your damn neck, right? Or don't. But sometimes you're like, hey man, am I still cool? Do I still got it? Have I peaked? Should I just kill myself? Well, no, you probably shouldn't. Oh, Moon has replied with an answer. He said he dropped his phone. So Moon, what I was saying is, I want this patina to be able to be looked at as the light coming through this thick green acrylic of like greenhouse greenhouse gases. You know how the thick plastic on the greenhouses that are probably around you in your beautiful part of the world that I want my fate to take me towards. I want my art to take off, and I want Brie and I to go live in Oregon. I spoke that out into the universe. Just now. I'm seeing people who are not good at this sell their stuff for hundreds of dollars. And that gives me a strange confidence that if my friends are along, if my friends really want to help, then they'll help by not necessarily even buying my shit, but always being there to help broadcast my intent out into the universe. Like someday soon, I want to get a bunch of little molds going. I'd say springtime is my timetable for that. Doing stuff with molds. Very gassy. Yeah, a little bit of gassiness. Yeah, and so then I thought, well, I was talking to you about, I don't know how much you studied in film school about video effects, but this is like an HDRI sphere, or what someone would do to see if how a 3D model would look like in a real environment. Capture all that light information. So once I used a gradient map to apply this palette to this, I started color picking from it to start painting this dude. Because my ultimate goal is to, if this dude was, I want the kind of person who would buy this weird guy to, even though it's an all-weather material, here's kind of what he would look like in silhouette. His 2 big feet. He has a bit of a pouch. Thinking about putting a little one in here that you can't quite see because it's kind of covered up. But I want this guy to be that if you were in your friend's greenhouse and between 2 potted plants, this guy was just kind of peeking out, that it would seem strangely natural and right. And that's when I asked you if you were picking up the vibe that I was putting down. And then that's, I think, right about where you dropped your phone to catch up with all that. Don't play with your catch up, you dolt. Smooth this out some more, right? Smooth out this side of the line, but not that one. And that's a fun game to play. Smooth out one side of the line or the other. That's exactly a lot of what I'm thinking of when I'm sculpting. So a lot of times I'll have a thing. Let me talk a little bit about how I sculpt. Let me pick up a fairly neutral color. Imagine this is a ball of clay. That veggie. Oh, yeah, because I had to really cross. So Moon says, did you see that veggie on Instagram earlier? Let me bring up Instagram. Since I got a friend here, my friend is allowed to be self-referential. I'm allowed to bring up my stuff and point to it. Everyone who's listening to this is my friend Moon, and he runs this Defy Woodworks page. Let me drag this over to monitor 1. So he's Defy Woodworks on Instagram, and he's talking about this horribleness. Now, Moon, let me tell you something. At first, I thought that you posted this because it was just neat looking and something that you found somewhere. Because this looks straight up like it's some CG fractal shit that somebody made in a computer. So you're going to need to let me know how that tastes. Yeah. Oh, it's sort of a mix and taste from cauliflower and broccoli. It's edible. You don't want to eat it. Yeah, it really is. I mean, isn't it pretty? Wonder how well that would hold up to the time of curing in a mold for a couple hours. Let's get an impression of that weird math, right? So I was saying that a lot of how I'm sculpting the light on this weird sheep radish guy thing is I'm putting down a color, right? And then I'm deciding, as I cut in with shadow or not, which side of the line I want to smudge. So watch this. See how it's not smudged? What if I smudge this line? How does that look? Especially if all my light, let me say this, all my light is going to come from here. And now what if I do this? So now I'm implying some dimensionality. Well, now look at how I can choose to... What if I blend that? What does that imply? Okay, well then this comes down and it's real rounded, and then bam, a hard edge. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. What if I smooth this? That's a different shape. What if I smooth this? What if I smooth both of these? It's the same thing a lot of times when I sculpt. I'm putting down, let me just grab another bright color. I'm putting down, if I punch two eyes in this dude, I'm putting down strips. Let's make this a little more high contrast. I'm putting down strips of clay, right? I put down these strips of clay for his eyebrows. If you saw those little faces I made, I'll take some lips. And so all of this becomes, how do I blend it in? If this is a roll of clay, then I blend it in and it comes up. Kind of looks like a white trash gingerbread lady. See if as I shade one side of the line or the other. So all of these little things you do are choices, I'm trying to say. If I shade this here, if I shade this down into that, or this down into that, I mean, you get to a point where if you don't have any hard lines, then you're not really saying anything at all. It looks like everything's just a blurred mess, or that someone's squinting. And I went with this bright yellow just so you could see that I'm actually blending it down. But, you know, three-dimensional forms. Lay on a pipe, blend it up. That's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. See, this little dude has a ridge here. If I take this line and I blend on one side or the other, what does it say for what I'm implying about the shape? Well, that's why I started to move the all the lighting over, right? The other thing is I was studying weathering techniques that involve oil paints, even though I primarily use acrylics, and that fascinated the crap out of me. If you're doing a model of some kind, normally something industrial, but you know, these dudes I want to look like they kind of pulled themselves up and out of the garden a little bit, right? So if that's the case, then they would have some weathering on them as well, right? Right? I'm gonna be saying right all night for no reason. Yeah, I do want this guy's head to kind of be triangular, right? Right? Golly. Right. What does it look like from the top? I mean, as a dude who's gonna have to sculpt this is all the crap I need to take into account. So, left, yeah. See, we just need, if I'm going right all the time, then we just need someone like Moon in here to, well, insert a counter argument, if you will. And if you won't, screw you too, friend. Yeah. So I don't think that it is a bother if he's got a lot of that sloth going on. You know what I'm talking about from that one movie? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If I imply, because again, I accept that which my college professor tried to impress upon me, that art is often the shape of one thing with the skin of another. And so, as it goes, he is, he might look like that in shape, but it's up to me to paint him to not look like that. And in fact, this is all going to be wrinkly. I'm not going to give him a dark or a black nose. And in fact, maybe I should come in here and mess with this one more time. Let's see what I can do. Not pomegranate. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want to necessarily make... you want me to put pom-poms on his ears? Moon, you just reminded me of something, and I am grateful for it. So again, in the spirit of that patina we were talking about, I think that it makes sense to have a have a little bit of a cyan color encroaching in here, and then for the dark blacks we'll have more of an earthy brown. Pom-poms on his ears. Yeah, Moon just reminded me of, I want to look up these goblins from what the hell are we talking about? Little Nemo and the Dream Master. Is that what that was called? Little Nemo, the Dream Master? Oh, Adventures in Slumberland. Little Goblin. Wow, that is a super tiny and almost useless picture. This is a little bit better, but only a little bit. So, open in a new tab. Show you guys this if I can blow it up. Sorry for the potato quality, folks. Pom-poms on his ears. It reminded me of these little goblin dudes. Yeah. From this show. Which got me to thinking about, hey, this dude's gonna have some hair, right? And that's the other reason why I'm doing this, is because I want you to see kind of what I'm talking about, the lighting of being in a greenhouse. Maybe this needs to come down just a little bit more. Be a little more green and a little less blue. But still, I want you to see this kind of rusty, coppery, bronzy patina. How many times can you say a thing to mean a thing? Well, as many times as I want, actually, you jerks. Oh, it's getting testy. Well, sometimes you just run out of words, right? Patina. Da-na-na-na. Let's make it a fancy song like tequila. See, this is a little too bronze. Because I don't want anything to be that. So this is a little better. Yeah, this is more like what I mean. So, alright, my friend. Moon is taking off. We're massaging this. Moon, I hope that you get to see a version of this a little more completed. You rest well. Thanks for joining me at all tonight. And I have 2 viewers. I have another viewer. Another friend out there in the darkness watching me make these weird little goblins in Photoshop tonight. Color. Oh yeah, I only wanted to apply this to this. And then probably use a mask, right? Here. I don't care if all this is that same color. And let's invert it, because I don't want to destroy this original palette over here. Gonna take just a moment to show our station colors. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 12, Ritual, the Natural Order, and Patina. We're talking about Patina. I can talk to you about the natural order a little bit more. If you want to ponder some of my thoughts about that, look up this weirdness in the upper right-hand corner. And I'm down to 1 viewer, and if Moon just left, shoot me a wave, shoot me a hi and a hello. I'd like to say hi back to you. Thank you for spinning the sand of your hourglass with me. This is Into the Night. I'm going to take a short 2-minute break to hydrate, and I'll be right back. Howdy folks, this is Into the Night with Incomitatum. I'm back, we're going on an hour and a half. What am I doing right now? Well, I tried showing off that I've been doing some sculpting on one of my past streams. And that kind of went to crap. I didn't have the microphone on. And then a lot of other things happened, and so we are where we are. But I'm trying to plant some consistency in my designs. I'm trying to say, okay, if I make certain design decisions about this guy tonight, what does that say for where I want to go with the rest of this, air quotes, line of toys? Figures. What themes might I be drawing upon early by making certain decisions now? How will the choices I'm making now inform my design constraints later? So part of what I'm doing is fussing about with this patina here. Because I'm about to redraw this guy. See if I can make him a little bigger for us. I'm about to redraw him from a slightly different perspective, because I want to draw all of him, more of him. I want to figure out some more of the shapes as I look at these little silhouettes. Yeah. And when I do that, I'm gonna color pick from this guy. So as it goes, I want to make sure that I have these colors that I'm a little more happy with them. So I'm coming in here doing the things that I normally do when I'm towards the end of a picture. Like, oh, I want his midtones to be, or I want his shadows to be real red, right? Because I want this guy to feel like he came up and out of a garden. Just a little green. You know, if he was a turnip or an onion, that'd be cool, right? Midtones. I actually want his midtones to be a little cyan, because I want that patina. And his highlights, here's where I want to really boost the green and the yellow. Maybe even some red. So his midtones, again, cyan. Some blue. The more I stare at him, he kind of looks like an Asura, right? Right? Right. Here we go. See, that's not too bad. And luckily, because of opacity, I can knock this down. So let's do before and after. Let's do the A test and the B test and the A test. I'm going to take all these adjustment layers and be like, do I like it? More, less, more, less, more, less. I think that the highlight of that is just a little too much. Knock this all down to 50%. Merge it. One last thing I'm going to do. Mess with the levels. I might do brightness and contrast also. But this feels like I might get a hot spot there. See, as I do this, he starts to feel more wet and amphibian. And based on certain design decisions you make, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you're going for. I like the red and green contrast. But again, this is just too much. Maybe I'll try curves. Something just is not sitting with me correctly. I haven't done curves in a little while. So I want my darks. In fact, I want my blacks to be dark too. And then up in the highlights. And then the blue, why not just bake some of that in there, take it out of the highlights, take it out of the shadows. And those midtones, really we just need to get them down in here. This is going a little bit better. And then the green. Well, the green is good on almost all counts. We could take a little out of here. Punch just a little more up into here. Punch a lot more up into here. The other thing we're doing is we're blowing out. We're blowing out our highlights, dude. Let me just take this whole thing and wrangle it back some. Wrangle it up and down and all around, and it's a little easier to do when you've got these curves right here. So they're getting away from that green patina somehow. So the funny thing is, at the end of the day, I might end up just dropping all this back on top of itself. I'll show you what I even mean by that. We're into the night with Incomitatum. This is episode 12. I'm showing some of my process off tonight, and I hope you're digging it. Hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. But only what? Because we're not putting anybody down tonight, friends. We're all on the same page here. Doing some art. Enjoying our spaceships of the imagination together. This is a little more like what I wanted. That gets me back to some of that. In fact, might be a little too much. But finally, let me take this and all these other weird little doodles around it and make it its own thing. So I can shut these off. Oh yeah, and save it. It's always good to save your work. So what are we doing? I got a lot of different little ideas going on. And I need to work out these different views. I see this starting with a yeah, let's whiteboard this out. I see starting with a lump here, coming down here, and then almost right away. This separation is not too big, so almost right away having a body here. And as I just messed up this line, that's okay, because I might have actually liked it that way. What the hell am I talking about? This isn't a sphere, this is more of a... I cook a lot of chicken, to be honest, and so I'm thinking about that chicken breast shape. Thinking about having a pouch here. Thinking about having some feet. Maybe they're rather aquatic. Wouldn't that be strange? Maybe this guy is a bit of a frog. I mean, I did say he had a little bit of a mullet, and that's strange, but it's not a disqualifier, is it? Because, see, I want you to question whether or not these things would be sentient or not. And if this is this, if I bisected this like this, Shink, which would be about halfway up, then halfway again, that's where his eye stalk would be. So then this is where his mouth is. Which comes down like this. And why I wanted to draw this in kind of 3/4 perspective. So if this is his mouth, then this is his, he's got his nose. I want it to not be very big. I want it to almost blend into this shape that comes back here, right? Like a strange halo. And then we mush his head down. And then we mush his damn head down, right? Here we go. Here we go, folks. We're doing it. And that means his mouth goes in like this. I want his chin strap to kind of connect up to his eyeball. I want it implied that his jaw is not actually, you know, it's more like this, right here. And so he probably will get some folds and if that's there, then that's kind of going to be hard to get right, but whatever. Color picking from over here again. Throwing some hair in. He's allowed to have this sloth-like face. Part of why I wanted to do this was to define these neck muscles. See, I really like the idea of considering the anatomy of these things. If this was a real little creature. Now, I have his head turned because I'm cheating and I'm lazy. But I guess if this is true... Go back. Let me go back. Let me not F this up. Hello, one viewer. I'm happy that you would be here with me as I noodle on this tonight, but I hope you'll say hi, and then we might get to know each other a little bit. Yeah, I need to look at some anatomy, right? Over on my other monitors, maybe. But I said my goal for this character was to be able to look at a... if you went to a friend's house and they had like a warm, humid greenhouse, I would want you to be able to look over and see this creature amongst the potted plants and not even think nothing of it. Like, that would not be weird. Everybody who joins the stream leaves the stream. We are but one with the stream for but a moment. Alright. Here I am painting these details in. It looks mushy right now, but I'm hoping it gets better. I want to get this down. He's going to need a little bit of a collarbone. Chicken. Muscle. Anatomy. How does a chicken neck do? When the Google shows me anything at all, because it's kind of locked up, then I'll show you. Okay. Here's what we got going on. Let's look at this for just a minute. I'm going to need to take a break here and get some more coffee. Let's look at frog. Muscle anatomy. And this is why I live in the future, folks. This is to say, the very fact that I can be like, I'm an artist who needs to reference something. Bliggity blam. And then it's just there. Isn't this amazing? We live in interesting times indeed. I'm going to make things a lot less opaque. Let's just go straight back to sculpting. And I'm going to say that my light source is mostly coming from here. Wow, that didn't work at all. You'd think that I would use a light color. Mostly coming from here, so... Well, geez, let's just look at human anatomy then, right? Frog muscle anatomy. Human neck. Nickel. Human nickel. Yeah, you show me human nickel. You got a thing going this way, a thing going that way. It all connects down to the collarbone. This might be one of the better ones. Okay. This is some of the shit that I ruined up in here in my car wreck. Dink. Let's just put this over here. So if I wanted to do this and reference this image correctly, I would say that this connects all the way up here to back behind his ear and comes down to here. I haven't gone to try and blend any of this together yet. This is just to get the hard shapes down. We also have to assume that if this is a bit of a breastbone, then oh, I said there was a pouch here, right? So maybe the breastbone is all the way up here, and I need this to jut out a little more. It's entirely possible. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 12, Ritual, the Natural Order, and Patina. Last hour we talked about the patina sum, how I'm trying to bake that into more and more of what I do. I think I got this reference down all right. Let me start blending some of this crap. I want this to actually be more of a hard line, so this is soft. Soft again. Bigger, bigger, my. Yes, I do, but I may have bigger for you. Now this is soft, and all that is soft, and this is real soft, and that's real soft, and this is soft, and look how soft that is. Essentially, you come in and you soften damn near all of it. It's even soft in this. Come in here and blur all this shit up, right? Get it done. Let's blur it out. Because, and I'll let this gray be some of the ambient tone around here. Because, after we soften all this crap, trying to be better, folks. Try not to swear all the time. I am, anyway. Not saying you have to. After I do all this, then I'm going to come back with certain informed decisions. First of all, I need these eyes to do the eyeball thing. Swink. I need them to look like eyes even sooner. Let's get in here and make them look like eyes. Whoop, whoop. If this wraps around here like this, because it's supposed to, or even if it's not, then I think I want this to come straight down more. See, I've already decided that I need to bisect this shape. And do more of this. Build up this some more. Right now, I'm just blessed in a world that I get to consider any of this. That I get to solve the kind of problems of how am I going to make this little goblin look? See, right now I'm already seeing that I need to bring this back quite a bit. Where did he lose some of his charm? Well, I think this shape needs to be defined even better. Whoa, let's back out. This shape needs to be defined a little better. And if all his light, if the light is coming from here, then this needs to do like that, right? Right, right, right. And I think I want to undercut this part of the line. So far, having viewers hasn't been part of our success matrix, and that's actually been freeing, so it's always good when friends join you for your streams, but it's not always possible. And some of this stuff is going to come out in the sculpt. But I think that I'm seeing that I want one of the planes of his face to definitely be here. If you can see this little shape, it's here. Part of it I feel might be that, yeah, I think this feels like it sticks out too much. I hope you can see as I'm trying to chisel this in and out what I'm going through. And again, like I've said many times before, some of this I'll have in the concept, and then I'll have to decide if I'm even gonna. Some of it I might abandon, but here I'm trying to make informed design decisions early on. You know, another one of my influences, if you remember, would have been Boglins. Did any of you have Boglins? Yeah, it's not quite wool, but I would like him to have some weird mop. And then again, down his neck. Alright, let's zoom out for a minute and see what we got. I don't hate it. It's still not quite looking like this side view, and I need to know why. I think this might not be rounded enough. Just a little rim of a shape back in there, but yeah, in fact I'm seeing this here now. Which was a little bit of that shape earlier, so maybe I just need to work some better wrinkles in here. And if that's true, then this is the side of the wrinkles I want to see shaded. And then a little on the edges here. I can come in here and do some of these kind of lines. And some of this. And then that whole thing just has to get blended one way or the other, and I think it'll go down here. Woohoo, we got a couple different layers going on. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's great, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break and I'll be right back. All right, I figured that I would give it the span of a break. A couple things are going on. I decided that I want to take this to the next level. What does that mean? I want to focus on getting this dude to look like he belongs in here. I'm actually going to make an all new file. 8 by 8 inches. We'll say 100 pixels per inch. Drop this in here. And I want this guy to feel like he's going to belong down in here somewhere. The issue with that is already I got to do some color matching. If I take all of this, take all these, dink, all on the same layer. If I drop this in here, already a lot of this is too bright. So I kind of need to come in here and do the gradient map thing too, right? Shouldn't I do it off of this? And we'll say nowhere for now, until I get this in here better. But here's my darkest red. Here's my brightest white. Down in the middle somewhere, I've got this fun green. And then these get a little more orange as we go in. And this brightness is 65. So let's put it there. This brightness is 76, so let's put it there. This brightness is 39, so let's put it there. This brightness should be really low down. 15 is actually more than I thought it would be, but fine. This brightness is 94, and I'm going to be all right with that. So if we turn this on again, I don't hate that. And so that's how we find ourselves here, folks. Yeah. I'm going to do some color balancing right away. Alright, let's start getting this guy in here like he belongs in here. I'm going to maneuver the little head around. Onto a different layer. For now, this guy, I want to tuck him back down in here. He needs to be on his whole layer too, right? Boom. Boom. Save as. Turn up. See, right now he doesn't look quite like I want him to. How about you do what I say, computer? Because I said it. If you don't do what I say, computer, then you're not going to be around here anymore, right? I mean, come on. There's a certain way our relationship works, Mr. Computer. If you don't do what I say, I don't have a reason to keep you around. I'm just saying. You work for me. I'm the boss of you, Mr. Computer. The only time I was accused of being a control freak is when everything was out of control. I'm just saying. Doesn't it make sense that you would want to be the most in control? So now my new mission is to paint this guy to where he looks like he actually belongs in here. And in a way that I like, because I'm not liking some of this. But the nice thing about it is I get to paint on both layers at the same time if I want. And knowing that he would get a little bit of bounced light from some of these sources. Especially if he's supposed to look a little bit like a reptile. Supposed to look a little wet. Okay. So this is his center. Right here. And if this is the center of him, that's fine, right? But I want this to come all the way back here. I do like that swoop. Just as sure as this neck is built up, we are going to have a little bit of a bump right here. Alright, let's start blending some of these shapes together. As we zoom out, he almost looks like he belongs here. Some of these brighter whites. Yeah, I really like this line as it crosses down into here, up underneath his nose. Didn't we want to imply a certain happiness, even if it was faked? I think we had these lines we were going to try and put in. In fact, this is important because it shows that I was trying to cover up this lid. So let's get this kind of neutral color back down in here. Isn't that a little better? This guy doesn't look fun or cuddly. I mean, was that a requirement? He just doesn't look like somebody I would want to run into. Let's turn this off for a second. I'm having some trouble with this whole face. This comes down here. This is a little bit of a lip. This isn't so bad now that I define this. Alright. I think this is looking some better. Let's turn this back on. What does that get us? I think we are deciding that I want this to be a high, kind of a high gloss kind of dude, right? Having some Frushgaba. Some kind of little gonad or a, what do you call that? Aqueduct. Lymph node. Golly. Aqueduct. And some of this I am skimming through. I mean, I'm making up as I go along because it's just got to look like he belongs. This shape isn't quite enough. Look at how this pot is here. Shing, right in front. So we can use a little bit more of this. A little bit more of that. Two viewers. Thanks, viewers. I'm just happy you're here. I don't know if you've ever seen my show before. I don't know if I know you personally. There's a lot I don't know. But right now, I'm working on this little guy. That's what I know. Hope you don't mind seeing me sculpt and shape weird little Muppets. Gotta stop using that word because I'm pretty sure it's trademarked. If you feel like interacting, and it's certainly not required, but I would love it if you would just reach out and say, hello. I'd like to get to know you. That's what I'm here for, right? Well, part of it is the validation that I was here at all. And both the viewers just up and went. I'm learning more and more that you just... well, the right person might come along. But for the most part, you can't be saying hi to the viewers. The zoo animals don't interact directly with the guests. Don't or shouldn't? Because I'm not sure. Just coming in here and blurring this up because I'm thinking I gotta take it back. Thinking a lot of this and this and this has to be here. But this line has a dark redness, needs to ride down the back to there. And we might get some bounce light, so then that would be kind of like some of this. And like I do most of the time, I'm going to come in here and clean this up. can make a lot of this less ambiguous, but to start with, let's just blur it all together. See, I want his head to be grumble, 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 grumble. What do I want? Well, I want this line to be reconciled. Maybe this entire thing needs to come over this way more. This shape right here. So that means I want this shape right here. So is that a little more like it? Okay, time to get all blendy blendy. Here we go. I want this to stay a hard line. I want the bottom side of this to stay hard. The top side of that. See, this is already starting to look like something now. Starting to come together right here over this weird breastbone that isn't. If we zoom out, it doesn't stick out too badly. I think I'm going to do some minor cheats. First of all, I see these fronds. So over the top, I'm just going to come in with big dark black colors and This isn't quite pushed to the point that I want it to be. I think I need to make these highlighters a little lighter. And this is where my color wheel comes in super handy. Because I can say, you know, I want somewhere between here and here, and a little on the lighter side. And that's what I'll get. That's what it'll give me. That's why it was worth being one of the few programs that I endorse. One of the few plugins I endorse, I mean to say. This hair is going to be a little phoned in, but whatever, man. Already down here, I need to darken. A little too red. Color burn, linear burn, it's all the same thing. It's really not, but whatever, man. I mean, tell yourself whatever you gotta. Color burn. It's a little better. There we go, that's starting to be more like what we need. And again, you can just come in here and blend it all away. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 12. We're talking Ritual, the Natural Order, and Patina. I got making on this guy tonight, and you know what? I'm okay with that, because making can be fun. Making is fun, damn it. Yeah. It really is. Sometimes. Part of what I'm doing here is trying to knock this shape back to where it shows off a little more of this thing's sliminess. Is that the right word? Here I'm just adding a little bit more contrast. In fact, let me turn down these other effect layers I've got going on. And I'm just trying to slowly bump up this contrast. I'm going to do that in a few different ways. Right now I've got a overlay layer. I'm going to do another one, the same mask, but this is more of a sphere. I really want to highlight his face, kind of like in conjunction with this. So here's a subtle overlay. Here's a really bright overlay. The two have to play together very well. Let's turn them both down to 0 and turn them both up slowly. See how this shapes the shadows some? So now I'll turn on these fronds. So this needs some adjustment. Can be darker, can be even more saturated. That's really what you want to go for, is super dark and super saturated. It's almost matching this over here. If I want to walk it back, then I'll do it on the opacity over here. Along with these bright highlights. A couple things are happening. Bump up. Might even turn this to normal. Yeah, look at that, normal. And then change this to normal. What's it do? Overlay. And let's walk the brightness back. The saturation is somewhere in the middle. See how it gets, see how it butts up against this color here. Almost. So then as I brighten it, brighten this a little bit. Darken that. We can always scale it back too, right? It's starting to look good. I'm going to turn all this down. I think I need to put this stuff in its own layer, right? Here, here. These are really just adjustments. So now I need to come in here. I'm almost done. I'm almost to the way that I like this. For my own sanity, I want this to be here. I just don't want those lines to really connect yet. And I want some of this. Also, I want to paint this back. I don't even know what it is, but it's part of the background and it's distracting from my design, in my opinion. So I'm painting that out along with this. I don't care if there's a little bit of this, but you know, I need to reconcile how this joins up with the background. I'm really liking this. I think the messiest part is right in here now. This just doesn't quite feel like it comes down the way I want it to. Not quite, but almost. And a little bit of this line blurs up into here. Now the one last thing that I would definitely want to have in here, and I'm going to carve this in. I want to have these onion skin-like layers. And the other thing that this will do is help inform the design. If you see how I... poops. Let's see if I can back up that many times. I hope so. Let's do this on another layer. Alright, but this was good. The most important layer that I got in was here. Yeah, it's just that's too damn thick. So let's come down to a 3 brush. Let's come up to a 4 brush. Because the dude has a little bit of a turkey neck, right? Yeah, he does. Alright, here we go. And then... let's do a little bit of a hairy mane all the way around. First of all, overlay this and turn it way down. But if that's true, then I actually want a delineation right here. So let's draw that. Let's draw in a kind of like the head of a cabbage. Maybe playing more on this idea of these fronds back here coming down. Masking up this shape. Because we want him to look a little more like a vegetable, so... and maybe it is that these ringulettes meet up over here too. Ringulettes. What the hell? This in here is a lot of that which needs to be blurred. So we were just trying to get a bit of a shape going before I come in here and carve it with something a little darker. Let's come in here and this is some fun. So we get the shapes going. I want just a little, I mean, I want a lot more rim lighting, don't I? Let's get some of that from here. We can say it's what comes up off of here. But then at the moment that you start getting up into here, we need. This is looking real good. This is looking almost exactly like I want it to. I want to mess with the brightness and contrast of the whole thing. I want to knock the contrast back, the brightness back. I'm going to maybe do this one more time. Let's be dorks and raise the brightness manually. And let's mess with the color balance. See, I want this. I want a different color scheme in here. It isn't doing what I'm telling it to. It's ticking me off. Okay. So I want that gray, green, blue in here. And I want this here. Yeah, at some point, I run out of steam and I stop talking. It's rare, but it does happen. The last little bit I'm going to do is get some highlights going on here. Draw just a little more attention to this dude and to kind of how moist he is at times. Blur, Gaussian blur. See how much more that makes him pop? I think I need to paint in more of a shadow back here, if I'm being honest. I thought this was a really red back here. Let's see what it's supposed to be. Color burn, and it was turned down a little bit. Yeah. Brightness, just a little less. There we go. Alright, how did that do with all these blendings? It's looking pretty good, almost like should. I think the last little thing I want to do is just darken the dark spots. Push the contrast to be more this way. And I don't know how we do it, but I want the whole thing to be a lot more blue-green. Maybe I'll just come in with a hue saturation override and be like, look, this whole thing needs to be colorized to more about here. Even here. Can we make this a soft light? This is looking pretty good. I do want to do a bit of a vignette if we're going to consider like Instagram filters and whatnot. I'm just going to be sloppy and paint this in. There's a bit of the bow here and there and here. And then I'll just shoom, shoom, shoom. A or B, A or B, A or B, A or B. So I think I'm all done with this. The last little thing I need to do is size this down, which I'll do real quick. This has been Into the Night with Incomitatum, episode 12. We've been talking about Patina a little bit. Been talking about ritual. I didn't talk about much about my ideas of the natural order. That was something that came out of Sabrina. I just got done watching that on Netflix with the whole family. It's dark. It's a bit dark. And then they, in my opinion, they phoned the ending in, but whatever. If this is 800 by 800, it doesn't need to be too much smaller. Let's just go ahead and do the things I do to make things sharper. Sharpen more. And smart sharpen. Cool, yeah, just, okay, just do what I say. And then the last thing I do, well, for those, is I knock them back to 50%, and I merge them with this. And now, I have something that's more and less sharp. Here I can also do a high pass, 1 pixel, set it to overlay. See, that's sharper also. Gonna set both of these to 50. And see, now you can see how much sharper things are or not. But let's just crank this down to 50. Still get some good sharpness in there. All right. It's only going on 3 o'clock. I think I'll get some food after this and then do some other work off screen. But I've had a real blast with you guys tonight. Had a few friends come by. I feel like I accomplished something, so thank you. I'll be posting this to Instagram, to Facebook, to Google+. I appreciate your follows. I know some nights I can come off as a bit extra, a bit much. But, you know, inside all of that, there is an artist who's begging to be heard and seen by the universe and hopefully appreciated in some way. So, you guys being here makes me feel appreciated. Until next time, this is Incomitatum. Be good to each other.